Hello, good evening and welcome to another edition of GPL Express here on TV3. My name is Kelvin Owusu-Ansah. Tonight we bring you the very best from Ghana's prime football domestic product, the Ghana Premier League. Medeama SC are champions by 3 teams, that is Tamale City, Kotoku Royals and Ken Faisal have already been relegated. But there's a lot more we have to let you know on the Ghana Premier League. Stay with us for the next 30 minutes as we bring you the very best on TV3. For the first time in their existence, Medeama SC have managed to clinch the Ghana Premier League title, breaking the drought of 47 years since the side from the western part of the country annexed Ghana's prime football championship. But there is a lot more that the side in Tarkwa have been put up and are expecting the project to yield in the next couple of years. Let's take a look at that.
The dream to make Tarkwa a football hub in Ghana started for Moses Ama decades ago at Dompim in the western region. He acquired a lower division team called Benji FC and qualified them to the Division 1 league before he purchased the now defunct Kesben FC.
Mnantia yedu mfia se Zayu Fi enom na yenua Framanko Hanskofi we hinara eso team nim nkakan kakra na ojuba bi na ahode no asa mnantia mbo wodi asase oye Kwame Esua aye friend John na Vuga ahode no fom na mnantia so wo so wo modern kokan nti eye hinara bankula aye na se friend Muspaka president of Medeama ebe so team nim musem kwala no e wodaache ti na training akwanya se hinara dompemiara na woye no.
Before making it into Ghana's top flight league in 2011, Medeama used to play on the Dompim Pepiasa community, which has now been developed into an AstroTurf.
So ojuba bi no na park ya na ona bojob kuduka na da homa ya na AstroTurf na entisa ye bobola eti go pe ni hina ya tu akop no so nti Muspaka ye ne se ebe the wire net ebe je ho nyanya ina perimeter ti na coach and a technical men na wako park no so ti didim kakra ti Medeama ene fe Medeama okọ nanim no na Muspaka ye ne se o the team no ekotakwa na team ekotakwa ni hinara no na oju training section a woba dom pipisa be training ye dimin kakra.
Fast forward 10 years, the Yellow and Mauves are a top club in Ghana with 5 competitive trophies and represented Ghana in the CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup before. They won the Ghana Premier League last Sunday as the latest addition to their trophy cabinet. The win, their president Moses Ama says, has been a long time coming, and now with 2 FA Cups, 1 Super Cup and a league title, the target is now to win a continental trophy.
The next one is either CAF Champions League Cup and Confederation Cup. That's what my target is now. So we are praying that we do very good recruitment. We have to prepare our big, nice, good team to face Africa. We have to combine with all the premier clubs. They should all get ready. We should cope together. If Medeama approach any prayer in your team, please, it means it's worth to join Medeama so that we go and fight Africa and break that gem in Africa.
It was a mere dream 15 years ago, but now a reality. They never gave up.
Wow, that is a very beautiful project put together by the people of Tarkwa to expect Medeama SC to continue their progression and be winning a lot more laurels. But there is one thing about the Ghana Premier League, though 3 sides have already been relegated, Kumasi Ken Faisal have an outstanding appeal case with the GFA Disciplinary Committee to be dealt with. If they manage to win, the dynamics on the table is likely to change. My colleague Belishon puts together the possible changes that could happen if Ken Faisal win that appeal case.
King Faisal, Tamale City and Kotoku Royals will not participate in the 2023-24 Ghana Premier League season after finishing in the bottom three last season. Two of the three relegated teams were newly promoted sides from the Division 1 league, showing promise in the lower tier of Ghana football. Some may argue that Kotoku Royals were prime candidates for the drop. They conceded 57 goals in 34 matches, the most by any top-flight team last season. But the circumstances that led to Tamale City's disappointing finish were peculiar.
I don't think clubs should be managed this way, where, for instance, they are not certain of where they will play in the Premier League, and we allow them to qualify. It's not something we should encourage, because once you leave it to them, what it means is that if they are not able to do as expected, then it's going to affect the quality of their performance, and their performance also is going to affect the overall quality of the league. So Kotoku, I wasn't surprised. Tamale City, same thing. I mean, if you look at the circumstances under which they came, it was a bit more rushed. You know, it was like a last-minute development that brought them. I mean, after the relegation of the disqualification, or is it demotion of Ashgold? So these are things that we need to look at.
King Faisal hoped for a favourable verdict in the appeal against Tamale City for allegedly fielding an unqualified player. A favourable call would have helped them avoid relegation. Unfortunately for the Kumasi-based side, the appeal was dismissed, but they looked destined for relegation. King Faisal finished in the bottom half in each of the last 3 seasons. The Inshallah boys had been knocking on the door, and this time, their lucky streak ended.
If you take King Faisal, Faisal has been in the relegation soup or that dogfight over the last 2-3 seasons. And it was always going to come to this point where they might, lose the battle. And I think maybe this season was the time. Very unfortunate. But then if you've struggled in the last 2-3 years to stay afloat, it's going to get to the point where if you are pushed a little harder, you go down the drain. And I think that's what happened to them.
A new set of teams will compete with the best the nation has to offer. But for King Faisal, Tamale City and Kotoku Royals, they will battle in the lower tier, looking back at what they could have done differently.
Well, there's been several reactions to the Ghana Premier League and its quality. Well, some even measure it, as a matter of fact, to the number of players who are invited to the Black Stars. Well, there's been a lot of questions around it, but Ore Kwampofo seeks to understand why certain Ghana Premier League players are invited, and with the level of playing the GPL, why not an appreciable number are able to get to the senior national team to perform the GPL's quality.
The 2022-2023 Ghana Premier League season will be remembered for the thrill that came with Mediama winning their maiden title. However, one underlying theme that was often thrown around was how competitive the league was. Only 18 points separated champions Mediama from the relegation zone. BBNE Gold Stars, who were just 3 points away from the top 4, ended up finishing just 7 points away from the drop. Accra Lions, who were in a title race with 2 months to the end of the season, only survived relegation by the skin of their teeth, finishing in 14th place. For a long period, it was difficult to tell which teams were battling for the title, top 4, top half and relegation. But did the competitive nature of the league truly reflect the quality on display?
You have players who come to play in the Premier Division. A lot of them don't know how to trap a ball, they don't know how to touch a ball, they don't know what awareness is, they don't know what to do in terms of movement, reading of the game, they are not intelligent, split second, know what to do when they have the ball. So it's a major challenge. If we fail to technically address that from the grassroots and have the foundation and begin to have a proper manual, if somebody wants to train a player at the lower level, what are the certification for that? Who supervises that to make sure that the technical criteria that is supposed to be used there, it's being used and applied effectively and appropriately?
The lack of quality has led to a domino effect, with Ghana Premier League players failing to make an impact on the national teams in recent call-ups.
Now, when that happens, you don't expect the local player who is going to the national team to go and live up to expectation. Will not. Gone are the days when we used to have quality players from the local scene playing the national team. Today we don't have that because the technical quality, the difference between the technical quality of yesterday's and today's local player is wide. The gap has widened.
If there's one thing the Ghana Premier League taught us last season, it is the fact that a league can be competitive and not necessarily mean it has demonstrated quality. Fundamental problems will have to be fixed to get Ghana's top flight league back on top of the continent once again.
Well, this is GPL Express. We'll take a quick break. On our return, we have a lot more for you. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Well, thanks for staying with us here on GPL Express. My name is Kelvin Otuansai. There's still a lot more to unpack. Well, the Ghana Premier League has been exciting this season, but it owes some bit of credit to the brand as well as management and organization of the Ghana Premier League, making sure that the league has been well marketed. Brand Anchor Global is their name. We caught up with them and interacted how they've managed to make the Premier League better.
Essentially, in as much as we've created a lot of innovations, I wouldn't say we've reinvented the wheel, but we've actually offered amplification to the amazing work that is being done in-house. And so I would give all credits to the communications and marketing team, and we're just giving that support. Football in Ghana is not even sick. Is nowhere near even life support. It is well and truly alive, and you need to visit these various match centers on the match days to be able to see it. Look, going into the home games in the home stadia of these different places, from Doma Hinkro to Takwa to Bechim, Brekum, Sogakope, and so on. The passion of the fans, even the football on display, the professionalism of the teams, the different things that are on offer. It's far from dead. You know, it just requires uncovering. There are so many things, so many angles, so many dimensions, so many sub-stories, so many things that we need to be able to show. And I think we're getting there. As we said, we are just uncovering the truths, and we're getting there. We should be able to show these stories to be able to prove the concept that Ghana football, Ghana Premier League is very, very much alive and kicking, and it's just a matter of time, a very short period of time. You know, several innovations as well. You could tell a lot of the players were buoyed, very happy about things like the locker room bonus, about, you know, like some of the branding that was put in place, and to a large extent just being able to capture the content and give the league a bigger presence, especially on socials, with short reels and so on. These are things that, you know, like people began to look forward to. These are things that caused a lot of positive comments and commentary, and we want to continue. We want to do this. Every match day was a full-on production on its own. So from end to end, every single person, myself, our director of activations, Yvonne, our DOP, Dean, our director of operations as well, Ronnie. Oh my goodness, like there was so much work that went in. In terms of limitations, I think with every new thing comes some amount of pushback, and to that end, we met some resistance from some of the teams. where they didn't really understand what was going on, although it was explained to every team. But I think as soon as everybody got it, everyone was on board. We were helped a lot. There was a lot of hand holding, and so the only thing that we're looking forward to a lot more is more partnerships, especially with the teams. We have the partnership with the owner of the league, with the sponsor partnership with the FA itself, but we're also looking forward to more partnership with the teams, because there are so many stories as well in there that we need to be able to tell.
We need the fans, those who are not going to the stadium, to actually patronize what happens at the stadium, because it's different being at the stadium and then watching it on TV. It's a different experience. Let me tell you something funny. So at the stadium, I was expecting to see replays, something I don't see there. So you always need your eyes glued on the pitch to see what goes on there. The fan reactions, the Jama groups. Yeah, I love that so much. And I would love for everybody to be at the stadium in the coming season.
This season, I wouldn't even call it a test case. I'll call it a humble beginning. I think next season is actually going to be bigger and better. There are so many innovations that are going to be introduced, and I have full confidence in the leadership at the FA, and also full confidence in the team leaderships. I have to say that the various teams have actually adapted to these modern times very well, fantastically well, and I give all props to them. And so I'm really looking forward to next season, all the little innovations that we've put in place and how all of them are actually going to take flight. And people should travel and go and watch the games. It's such a beautiful experience, a very different dynamic, a very different dimension. These are the things that I'm looking forward to telling people to go and do with our content. So next season, I'm really looking forward to it.
So that was Brand Anchor Global letting us know what they've actually been doing to promote the GPL. But we also have the final team who've made it to the Ghana Premier League, Nations Football Club.
Congratulations to Nations FC. Innovation for Access Bank. Official sponsor for the match. Congratulations to Nations FC.
Anna Walker has rejoined Great Olympics as their head coach subsequent to leaving the club last season to join Summertex on a 2-year deal. Walker and Summertex mutually consented to end his contract after only one season in which the club sat 10th on the table. The former Black Galaxies boss was connected to Olympic City rivals Ansah-Opoku, with reports indicating that talks had occurred and Walker had agreed to join the Phobians. In any case, Olympics burned through no time in taking their action to persuade Walker to get back to the side. Walker's exit from the Dade Boys altogether affected the club as they barely got away from relegation last season. His return is viewed as a lift for the group as they hope to work on their preparations in the impending season. Walker's insight of the club will be important as Great Olympics mean to construct a cutthroat crew and take a stab at progress next season. Both the club and Walker are invigorated by the reunion, with Olympics trusting that his return will bring strength and positive outcomes for the group.
And Anna Walker for the dummy to put Razakis on the
The Mensah Palace has decided to restructure the leadership of Ansah-Opoku SC ahead of the 2023-2024 season's campaign by declining to extend the mandate of the Dr. Kwame Kyei-led board. The 12-member board of Ansah-Opoku was constituted by the Mensah Palace in May 2020, following the proposals of the 3-member panel led by Ken UST professor Lydia Nkansa. It is not clear as to why the mandate was not extended, but there has not been harmony within the group.
I think that the board has failed in terms of performance, and that is one of the key reasons why, in my perspective, their mandate was not extended. Again, you know that there was cracks in the board right from their first or second meeting, and from that time, those who were on the side of trying to oust the board chairman from his position as the board chair, and those who were for him, there was that rift, and then it entered into the management. So I think that, you know, Nane Amponsah doesn't shy away from saying it in public that yes, he has issues with the board chairman and that the board chairman has issues with him, but other board members are cool with him.
During the 3-year reign of the board, the Porcupines won the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League title, but they could only manage a 4th place finish last season. This decision rounds up the activities of the management led by Nane Amponsah as a new leadership will be reconstituted. This model has defeated the progress to being dominant in Africa.
At Ansah-Opoku, normally the model of appointing a board and the board appointing a CEO doesn't normally work. It has not worked before. But based on current dispensation, based on current rules and regulations, they would have to make it work because that is the only accepted model. You cannot have a Kotoko chairman alone running Kotoko again. It cannot work again.
However, the management style of the 2-time CAF Champions League winners has been called into question.
So the executive chairman will come in, appoint his own CEO or even management team or former management team. Then they are actually going to appoint the next coach for the club. But I feel as it stands, Kumasi Ansah-Opoku have nothing to do with any ex-management member or even ex-board member. They're actually supposed to leave. None of them is going to take part in the new regime of the club.
In the next few weeks, a new era will begin. Well, thanks for staying with us on another edition of GPL Express. My name is Kelvin Oswansa. Thanks to the entire production team. We'll be back your way with another exciting edition next week. Have a good night.